Hello and welcome to That Shooting Show. My name is Steve Anderson. I am here in 2026 and I am still your humble host. Hope everybody had a great holiday season, whatever that is. You know, some people are off for 2 days, some people are off for 2 weeks, whatever. We are now back in business in 2026, ready to take on the world and help you reach your potential. We are a proud service of Walther Firearms. Once again, the PDP steel frame pistol. It's the finest production pistol I have ever handled. Once you pick it up, you will agree with me. If you do not, if you don't dig it, you can go dig somewhere else, and Walther will give you your money back. No questions asked. Well, they might ask you a question. They might ask you a question like, really? Okay, here's your money. All right, so also CR Speed is the finest gun handling gadgetry you can wrap around your waist or anywhere else. The AMG-lab.com Commanders and Timer continues to turn heads and blow minds by putting the time into the tablet. Shooting Sports Innovations is a lot to type because there's a lot to see when you get there. Hunter's HD Gold is the only eyewear that I am aware I ever wear. I am unaware of any other eyewear that I ever wear. So clever. So clever. Where were we? Adrodynamics continues to be the finest competition ammunition you can dispense from a Freedom Seed dispenser, and Targets USA is the finest steel targetry on the planet. We do have mental management for January, starting January the 14th. There are 3 time slots. I believe it's 1 p.m., and then it's either 6 or 7 p.m., and then 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was talking to a guy about that, and he said, yeah, I was going to take it, but it seems a little pricey. And I was like, Stan. Well, his name wasn't Stan, but it could have been Stan, right? Stan, how expensive is 5 years of struggle? Is that going to cost you more than $350? Yeah. Every major match you go to costs more than $350. Okay? Your monthly shooting budget, if you're at all serious, is $350. And you're going to tell me that the mental game is 95%, and you're going to tell me that you're having mental problems consistently, but you won't part with $350 to fix it. I find that fascinating. But I get it, because I was the same guy. I was that guy, right? I read with winning in mind. I applied most of it. I blew off the journal, didn't take it seriously, and I got better. I got a little bit better, but I plateaued again. So I made up an excuse to call Lanny again, and Lanny says, Steve, you've called me like 3 times now for free, but you haven't taken a class. What's the deal? And I said, well, Lanny, I got this book. And Lanny says, well, Steve, you keep asking me questions. Why don't you ask the book the questions? You can't ask a book a question. So, starting January 14th, running 3 consecutive Wednesdays. It is on Zoom. Each one is roughly 2 hours, and I promise you, if you apply these things, you will reach your goals. Okay? We're going to be at an indoor range in northern Ohio in late January. We got a few other classes on the books so far. See those at andersonshooting.com. And if you want a class in your area, stop waiting for one and let's organize one. Okay, this is how it works. Hey, Steve, I want to do a class. Awesome. Where are you? Well, I'm in Spokane, Idaho city town. Okay, great. You have access to a range. Yeah, I know the match director. Cool. If there are classes ever held at your range, we can do a class at your range. If there aren't, say, hey, go to the match director and say, hey, I want to have Anderson out. Oh, trust me, they'll know who I am. Okay, fine. I have all the insurance. It's very, very easy. Class sponsor gets the class for free under certain conditions, and we can do this thing. It's very, very easy. We do have one percolating in the Austin, Texas area. So if you know Rodzilla, or you've seen a crazy guy in a Jeep Gladiator with no doors or roofs, it's orange. If you've seen a very loud guy in a kilt and or a cowboy hat, maybe at the same time, that's Rodzilla in the Texas area. He's trying to put a class together, maybe 2. Get with him, he'll get with me, and we will get it done. So, also we have a new product that I just started like 2 days ago. I very frequently have had people ask me, what does it cost for you to be my full-time coach? And I've never had a great answer to that question, but I had that question twice in the last week. a gentleman came to me and said, look, I've been on the Anderson train for a while. I've done things. I've not done things. I noticed that things work very much better when I do exactly what you told me to do. So I want to hire you to tell me what exactly to do all the time. And I'm like, well, let me think about that for a minute. So the problem with this has always been how to price it. It needs to be a good value for the shooter and a good value for me. It needs to justify me for my time, and it needs to not be an onerous burden for his. So what we came up with was a number for virtually unlimited access to me. And we came up with a monthly number, and it's working really well so far. It's not taking an onerous amount of my time. It's taking just the right amount of my time. He's getting exactly what he needs. We talked yesterday. He was on his way to the indoor range. We gave him a training plan. I said, I want to see your journal entry tonight. And he sent me the journal entry. It went really well. I commented on that. And we're going to be interacting virtually every day for the next 3 months. And he is going to reach his goal. I will see to it. He said, I want you to make me feel bad if I don't do the thing. I said, I'm not going to make you feel bad when you don't do it. I'm going to make you feel good when you do it. And you're going to make yourself feel good when you do it. Guys, this is very simple. Reaching your goals is so simple, but you have to do the work, and you have to do the work every day. And the day you don't want to do it is the most important day. That's the day, right? I talked to a guy yesterday, day before yesterday, maybe it was yesterday. He wants to make GM. He's at 93%. He's not motivated to dry fire. I said, dude, I need you to want to dry fire more than you want to get to GM. That's what Jay Beal does. Jay Beal only goes to matches to refine his dry fire. And speaking of that, well, I was supposed to tell you about the dog attack. I'm going to go ahead and tell you anyway, just because this world that I live in is so strange. I've been walking around the neighborhood. I'm kind of getting addicted to it. It's really fun. The weather's really nice here in Kentucky, so I've been going for walks, primarily for exercise, obviously, physical fitness, blah, blah, blah. But I just like it. It's fun. It's very therapeutic. I get out of the house. It's good for my anxiety. And so I know every dog in the neighborhood. I'm not afraid of dogs. You guys know I love dogs. But this one address has got 4 pit bulls, and this is not an anti-pit bull thing. I don't, pit bulls are fine with me. It's not a breed thing. It's a behavior thing. Okay, so I'm walking past. They've got this ramshackle fence, and if you want to see a picture of it, I'll post a picture of it. But this fence is spare parts. It's aluminum siding from the 50s. It's ornamental. What would it be? Ornamental garden trellis used as a barrier. It's got a tarp zip tied to it with a bunch of holes in it, and there's a porch door that blocks off the top. There's like an old door. Okay, and these dogs rush the fence, and they bark. They've never gotten out. So I keep on walking. No big deal. I have heard, though, rumors of these dogs have killed another dog, and they have chased a small child into the lake, and one neighbor did shoot one of them after they killed the other dog. Okay? So there has been law enforcement contact. So Sunday, I'm walking, and the pit bulls came out of the fence, and they came right at me. And I have not been carrying, because the neighborhood's very safe. More on that here in just a minute. But I have not been carrying. And the pit bulls are coming at me. I don't even have, let's put it this way, my best weapon is a sharp word. That's all I've got. Body posture, I try to look aggressive. They are coming at me. Finally, this white car comes around the corner, and I flag it down, and I say, hey, I need to get in your car. I'm about to get attacked by pit bulls. And this guy, I struggle to say this politely. Let's call him mentally challenged. Okay? He's mentally challenged. He's not quite 100%. So he says, okay, get in the car. So I get in the car. Thank God. I'm safe from the pit bulls momentarily. And there's this boxer in the front seat, a boxer dog. The dog's cool as a cucumber, not barking, not doing anything. The dog's name is Rufus. Hey, Rufus, thank you so much for your owner picking me up and saving me. So we go on, and then we meet my friend Patty, who also walks. She's like a 60-year-old hippie. She's like the senior citizen flower child. She walks her German Shepherd. So we flag her down. Hey, the pit bulls are out. Please don't go there. Blah, 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 blah. I promise this is going somewhere. I promise. Okay, so then they finally drop me off. I escort Patty back home, and everything's good. Monday, the exact same thing happens. Well, not the exact same thing. Monday, they get out again and they chase me the other direction, but I got a picture of them this time. So now I've got photographic evidence of the dogs being out. I go up the hill. I see the guy who saved me coming out of his house. I see Rufus the boxer, who was so nice to me. And I said, hey, thanks again for saving me from the pit bull attack. And I went to go pet Rufus, and frickin' Rufus bit me. What? My savior dog was the one that bit me. Can't make this stuff up. So, moral of the story, carry a gun. All right, so are you training, are you practicing, or are you performing? So I got the idea for this. I don't remember the name of the group. I think it's called Red Dot Pistol, something or other. It was on the Facebook, and I wanted to see what other people think of these things. Okay? Are you training, are you practicing, or are you performing? And the reason I want to talk about this is the definition of success will be different in each of these environments. And just like the 3 modes of practice, which are grape, wine, and raisin, chocolate, strawberry. What's the other one? Oh, I remember those two. Isn't that funny? Chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, but oddly, vanilla is the one I forgot. Make your own jokes. Good grief, that's going to distract me for quite some time. Okay, moving on, make your own jokes. Just like the 3 modes of practice, I like to see what other people think about the mental side of this. But knowing which one you're doing is going to change the definition of success. And past, present success will predict future success. That's how confidence is built. Literally, okay? You know, past, present perceived failure or struggle predicts future struggle. Okay, so once again, we need to be in an environment where we can perceive success. If we are in an environment where we can perceive or predict success, that predicts future success. Oh, you're telling me to make things so easy, always get it right. That's not what I'm saying. I never said anything of the sort. Okay? That kind of behavior, that kind of thinking will keep you in the middle of the pack for your entire career. The middle of the pack is made up of people who are consciously controlling speed and getting negative imprints. Go talk to them. They'll tell you. Hey, what are you doing today? Well, I'm going fast, I'm going slow, and I'm sucking. Oh, I see. That's fascinating, Mr. Middle of the Pack. Yeah, they'll win some state matches. Yeah, they'll dominate locally for sure. But you go to the Nationals, you can always find them between 5 and 15. Always. Because that's where they live. Because the negative imprints and the conscious control of speed are keeping them there. And they're too dumb to know. Okay? So, when you're having success in training, you can predict success in the future. When you're struggling in training, you are going to predict struggle in the future unless you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what is the definition of success. So let's define training, okay? For starters, if you are shooting well, really well, by a normal standard, okay, you're shooting quick, you're shooting accurately, everything's going great, you're not training. And you're probably not getting better. But it doesn't mean you're wasting your time, but it doesn't mean that you're training. Training is ugly and messy. Training is a refinement or a change in technique. What you're doing is you're dragging a skill out of the subconscious. You're going to beat on it with a hammer to make it better, and then you're going to get reps of it, which is practice, to make it the new subconscious. It's a long, messy process, but it's the only way to get better, certainly short term. Okay? So success is performing the technique correctly with no other judgment, or improving the technique with no other judgment. Movement's a great example. Raise your hand if you shoot great when you're thinking about your feet. Nobody. So you shouldn't expect to. So you measure that with something else. Oh, by the way, Keita Bussey is very, very good at that, and we are doing classes together in 2026, just like we did last year. If you want a class with me and Keita, let me know that. We need to do that very quickly, though, because our schedules are filling up. What happens is we give 4 people 4 dates, and they all choose the same one. I need you to pick a date if you want to do a class with me and Keita. Very simple. We can take 16 people. It's the best training in the world that we have ever seen, and we've seen it all. All right, but movement's the best example. So when you're working on your footwork, don't expect to shoot well by the normal definition. You're not going to. And when you're in competition, if you think about your feet, you're not going to shoot very well. So think about something else. But when you're training, get the footwork right. Changing the draw or reload is another great example, right? If I want you to hold that gun a little higher, and most of you need to do this, most of you need to hold the gun a little bit higher instead of down here. But you need to think about that in training. But when you go to the match on Saturday, think about something else. And I don't really care where you load the gun at the match, because that's not why you're competing. They don't evaluate how high the gun is when you reload the gun. They do measure points in time, and how high you hold the gun will affect your time. Shorter the stage, the more it'll affect it. Okay? But training will be messy, and virtually nothing else will be correct. What I mean by that is, if you're working on footwork, you're going to have a lot of other problems. Ignore that. Don't even worry about it. Worry about the footwork and don't expect. And the more drastic the change, the messier everything else is going to be. And mental reps are very, very valuable here, especially after age or injury. If you're trying to change a technique, the longer you've been doing it the old way, the longer it's going to take to change it. So be sure the change is worth it. And visualizing doing it correctly is just as powerful as doing it physically correctly, maybe better. It's also much less taxing on the body. Okay? The self-image doesn't know the difference between the mental rep and the physical rep. So if you're visualizing some technique, if you're visualizing holding the gun higher, number one, you're always going to get it right. Number two, your self-image doesn't know the difference. And it's much less taxing on your body after aging and or injury. Okay? Conscious mind is guiding everything, and speed will be controlled in training. I never said you shouldn't control the speed in training. You must. I said you should not control it in competition. We're going to get to that in a minute. I'm sure you were expecting that. Now, imprints are being sent to your self-image. Let's call these thoughts of ability. Thoughts of ability are being sent to your self-image this entire time. You have got to be in control of them. Okay? If I'm changing how I load the gun and I miss the mag well the first couple of times, the imprint could be, this is not working. Anderson said I should do this. This is a disaster. What are we even doing here? Those are negative imprints. So you're going to be fighting this new technique. It's another example why you must be sure of the change before you undergo this process. Carry-optic shooters. Remember when they told you could move your holsters? And some of you did, and then you couldn't find your gun for a month? The smart ones didn't move their guns. Or they moved their guns, very carefully considered, and did a ton of reps to burn in the new location. So carefully consider a drastic change. It's going to take a long time. The imprints you send to your self-image must be positive or productive. Even if you can't be positive, you can always be productive. Well, Steve said I should do this, so I'm going to do it. I trust that crazy guy. That's a productive imprint. Your opinion of this process determines how soon you get access to it and how well it works. Don't fight me on this. This is fact, guys. Think of this as refinement. I'm refining things. And if you're making mistakes, what if you looked at it this way? What if you weren't doing anything wrong? What if something was happening and all you had to do is figure out what's happening? Okay, but when you assume you're doing something wrong, you're sending negative imprints to your self-image. Think about relationships. If something goes weird in a relationship, you might be doing something wrong or you might not, but something is happening. So you could ask your partner, hey, I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. It could be me, it could be you, but something is happening. Your training is the same way. Something is happening. If you're continuing to miss a reload or use the wrong foot, something is happening. And asking yourself what is happening is more powerful than asking yourself what you're doing wrong. Okay? And the performance model for mental management does show how the conscious trains the subconscious and informs the self-image. This is what it looks like right here. So the conscious, it's hard to do backwards here. Make your own jokes. The conscious trains, went the wrong way. See, something happened. What happened is the screen's inverted, and now I'm learning how to do it. The conscious trains the subconscious, and it informs, I gotta find my arm here, and informs the self-image. Hey, I'm holding the gun a little higher. That's going well. Going well. That's an imprint. Self-image is a filter for performance. It's so difficult to do. Make your own jokes. Something about doing it in the mirror makes everything backwards and I can't figure out what I'm doing. Make your own jokes, for the love of Pete and Poughkeepsie. So, conscious trains subconscious and informs self-image. Self-image is a filter for subconscious skill. Let's see. This is most common when the skill is new or change, and the gains will be big. The thing about training, especially if you're an underclassman, is the gains will be massive. If you're in D class, C class, you're going to get massive gains. And if you do a class with me and or Kita, pardon me, you're going to see massive gains. A class, M class, G class, you're not going to see gains quite as big. But if you're smart, you already know this. That's why C class, B class is the best time to take a class from either of us or both of us, because the gains are so massive. All right, so that's training. Ugly, messy, big gains. Practicing, and I'm using the words from the article. So I haven't decided if I like these words the best, and you guys know I'm real picky on my words. We're going to use these words because that's how it's presented to me. Practicing is the repetition of a known technique to reinforce its subconscious nature. Woo, what a mouthful. Make your own jokes. Practicing is the repetition of a known technique to reinforce the subconscious nature. So I've decided how to hold my gun. I've decided how to do my draw. I've decided how to use my feet. Now I'm going to do that over and over again to make it subconscious. So I can make the way the only way. Now here, we're not looking for big improvement. We're looking to do it correctly without much conscious thought. Okay, so we should begin to see it requires less conscious thought to make my body do this thing. That's good. Other things should begin to get better. And you should minimize the number of other things you're doing, by the way. Like if I'm learning something really groundbreaking, I may not fire a shot for a very long time. Sometimes in classes we do just to keep it entertaining, but you don't really need to. And the less conscious thought is used to do the thing, the better other things will get. If you're firing live rounds, the less conscious thought you need to control your feet or your arms or whatever it is you're doing, the better the shots will get. Okay? This can be very valuable for noting, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. And as you begin to use less conscious thought, you will get a sensation of watching yourself do things as opposed to doing things. And you guys that dry fire a lot, I'm sure you've noticed this. I always think of Matrix 2, pretty early in that movie, where they're having the meeting and somebody arrives at the door and somebody says it's agents, and so they go get Neo, and I think it's 2 agents. And Neo's just standing there fighting these guys with one hand. He's so bored. And he notices something and he goes, upgrades. So he was fighting very subconsciously, and he noticed that the agents have upgrades. You will notice that yourself when you are practicing. You're not thinking very much. You might be thinking a little bit. But this feeling of observing yourself is very typical of this. Okay, and you can't do it when you're thinking a lot. Okay, so this will be most dry fire at A class and above. Gains will be small. And the definition of success could be just doing the work. Certain times, I don't think I've called it that here, but I've used the term maintenance dry fire. I'm not really looking to break new ground. I'm looking to do the work and keep the skills sharp. Okay, so maintenance dry fire, practicing, very, very similar. Okay, speed can be controlled if gains are desired, but accuracy will suffer in the short term. So if you're stuck at a part-time, let's say your 6 reload 6 is 5 seconds. That's very common. That means you're insisting on all alphas. So what I need you to do is find a way to get to 4.5. I don't care what the hits are. You could go down to 1 target. You could not see anything. I don't really care what you do, but I need you to get to 4.5. Because that's going to feel different. That would be more of a training thing than a practicing thing, because we're looking for a big game. Okay, if you're looking for a small gain, just pick out something to do sooner. But the accuracy will suffer because if you're at 5 seconds for a part time and you could do it 4.5 with all A's, you'd already be doing it. So that may not be a today goal. But your 4.5 is going to feel different than your 5. Make your own jokes if you want to. That one's kind of borderline for making your own jokes. It may require a dirtier mind than the average listener. So, but during this process, imprints are being sent to the self-image. Imprints are always being sent to the self-image. Always, always, always. Your job is to control them so that they are majority positive or productive. So that's training and that's practicing. The biggest difference there is training is for big gains, practicing is for maintenance. Okay? Performing is shooting for score. This is why matches are not practice for anything other than competition. If you think your local match is practice, number one, we're not really doing enough of anything for it to count as practice. Right? At a 5-stage local, you're going to do 5 draws. That's not practice. You will be moving around a bunch, but it probably won't be all the same kind of movement. It'll be movement in different directions. Probably not enough of those things for it to call it practice. Okay, but you are calling shots ideally. And I don't know if you're practicing it, but you should for sure be doing it. And by the way, if you don't know how to call your shots, I need you to take a class with me ASAP. This is the most valuable skill in the sport. And it's so fantastic for your mental game because you literally cannot think about anything else when you're doing it. So if you want to shoot without thinking, if you want half of this mythical, I shoot my best when I'm not thinking, I don't care, fine. Half of that is achieved with a full immersion in calling every shot. That's half of it right there. And that will achieve not thinking. Don't care will be achieved by pre-accepting the results. And I'll show you how to do those things. But not for free. Gotcha. So, it will require a subconscious stage plan, subconscious execution, and that is only achieved with a singular point of focus. Okay? The only way to get subconscious performance is to occupy the conscious mind. It's the only way. That's the not thinking part. The definition of success in this performance, whether you're shooting for score or you're practicing shooting for score, okay, this is both performance. We're not looking for gains. We're looking to shoot subconsciously and leave only acceptable shots as quickly as we can see them. Match mode dry fire is great for this. Okay, there's 2 ways you could do match mode dry fire. We've talked about it numerous times. I suppose I'll show you. If I put 10 seconds on my timer, I've got a skeleton on the wall here, and I've got some sort of an award, a very important award over here. Okay, I'm going to put 8 seconds on my shot timer, and I'm going to, are you ready, stand by, beep. I'm going to go 1. I'm going to do that for 8 seconds. And the definition of success is leaving only acceptable shots for 8 seconds. Then I'm going to pick out something else. And I'm going to do it for 10 seconds. I'm going to pick out something else. Do it for 12 seconds. I'm going to add some movement. Do it for 14 seconds. Leaving only acceptable shots, including makeups. That's one way to do match mode dry fire. That's my favorite way to do match mode dry fire. Okay? The other thing you can do is the Alpha Charlie Challenge, which you'll learn when you come to a class. It's the single best drill I've ever found for match mode shooting, the Alpha Charlie Challenge. Stages should not be shot more than once in live fire or dry fire if it's match mode. So performing is match mode. Okay? So a great live fire exercise would be to shoot something for score. USPSA classifiers are great for this because we have a known standard. Oh, you're just telling people to go practice classifiers. I'm telling people to do things that the sport requires with a known standard. Gosh, how dumb is that? That's really dumb and destructive. I mean, come on, guys. Work with me here. Shoot it for score in match mode. Set a today goal, which is going to be a hit factor. Most people, when they do this correctly, can raise their score 1 classification level. Like if our first run's a B, we can almost always get an A. But if you're a G, I need you to be able to do Gs pretty much on demand. Okay? Then you're going to train in dry fire. So this is training. We're going to break everything down. So what I'm going to do, if I get a B class run, I'm going to figure out, okay, what is the par time for an A class run? I'll usually budget 4 targets, depending on how many targets there are. Come up with a dry fire par time 25% faster than I need to live fire it, roughly. Okay, depending on the shooter. We're gonna break that down. How do I? So let's say I want to shoot it in 5 seconds with good points. I'm going to dry fire it at 4 seconds. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Figure out how to do that. We do that a bunch. So I'm dry firing at 4 seconds on a regular basis. Then I'm going to shoot for score. So what you're learning here is you're learning a bunch of things. You're learning how do I get quicker, much faster. How do I get in and out of match mode on demand? Okay. And once you achieve this goal, move on to something else. Well, if I can't do it twice, I didn't do it once. I know you. You're in the middle of the pack. Oh, bless your heart. You're consciously controlling your speed in competition, and you're getting negative imprints primarily in training, and you pretty much own all the property right there in the middle of the pack because God bless your little heart. Okay. And then document it in your journal, what you did, how you did it, so you can do it again. We need to talk about the 3 modes of practice very briefly as they relate to self-image. Accuracy, only the target matters. This is primarily group shooting. If you're above B class, there really isn't an accuracy mode for you guys unless you're having trouble shooting groups. Most people, and this is really fascinating. I was telling this to not Stan, but a guy whose name might have been Stan. This was a guy whose name might have been, there's a Z in his last name. Nick, maybe? I don't know. Here's what a lot of people do. They go to the range and they practice shooting alphas at 10 yards and they complain that they're slow. And then they go to the match feeling slow because they complained about it. Those are the negative imprints in training. Okay, now they're going to overtry. So now they're missing a bunch. They're having bad points. So in their infinite wisdom, they go, I need to go practice shooting alphas. Guys, you don't need to practice shooting alphas. If you're above C class, you know how to shoot alphas. It's either sight or trigger. So you don't need to practice that. What you need to do is decide to do that at the match without consciously slowing down. That's all you need to do. And then use training. Training is where you blow your C's and D's and mics to learn what it feels like to go faster. You don't even need to fire a shot. You can do it in dry fire. I'll show you how. This is speed mode. This means I need to capture the feeling of doing something significantly quicker and make it normal. Again, the first time you go 100 miles an hour in your mom's car, it's terrifying. That's new ground. That's unfamiliar territory. The next time you do it, it won't be anywhere near as scary. The third or fourth time you do it, it'll be normal. That's speed mode. Okay, you've got to get over this fear of going faster. And you don't evaluate accuracy while you're doing that for 2 reasons. Number 1, if you could be accurate at that speed, you'd already be doing it. Number 2, these negative imprints are going to inhibit, if you prefer, prohibit, if you like that one better, doesn't matter, access to your skill. Because the self-image is a filter for your subconscious skill, whether you want it to be or not. Okay? And match mode is the only thing you can practice at your local match. That's analyze, strategize, visualize, anal strat, mem, viz. Make your own jokes. Analyze, strategize, memorize, visualize, and then surrender to your eyes. That's match mode. Okay? And it doesn't matter so much which mode that you're in. It matters that you know which mode you're in because they will have different definitions of success. And if you're not successful in your training, or you're practicing, or you're performing, you won't be successful at your match. Because you're determining the shooter that goes to the match in your training. I suck, I'm slow, I'm sloppy, let's go to the match. Versus, I'm getting faster, I'm accurate when I make that the most important thing, and I'm getting better every time. Now let's go to a match. All right, and let's get my calendar filled up for 2026, either with me by myself or with the lovely and talented Keita Bussey. I promise we can make all kinds of magic because that's what we do. So let me know, steve@andersonshooting.com, and get signed up for mental management starting on the 14th. 3 time slots available, so you have no excuses. All right, until we meet again, be like me, do what I do, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, love you, BYE, and get to work.